Okay, friends, welcome. We are going to start out in Child's Pose. So you can come to a tabletop when you want. Your knees can go out a little bit wider towards the edges of your mats. Tops of the feet to the ground, big toes together. And then just let the weight of your sit bones rest back towards your heels. Bring your forehead down to the earth and just have the arms lengthened out in front of you. Take a big exhale, just a sigh out the mouth, come all the way down to empty. And then take an inhale to your low belly, low back. Breathe into your mid-abdomen and your mid-back. Fill all the way up to the chest, all the way up to the shoulders. Once you've got the full breath, just relax and hold. And then exhale for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do that again. Breathe in low belly, low back. And hold. Take your air to your mid-abdomen and your mid-back. And hold, and then fill all the way to the chest, all the way to the shoulders. Once you've got your full breath, relax. Sip in a little more air to top it up. And then like you were quieting a child on your exhale, we'll start Ujjayi breathing. So those slow, deep inhales through your nose, like you're sipping the air into a straw from the bottom all the way up to the top. And then on the exhales, out the nose like you're fogging up a mirror slowly down to empty. I want you to focus on the sound that your breath is creating. That hollow wind sound that you get to dial into. And as we hone in our inhales, as we hone in our exhales, just the way that we are drawn out of fixing, solving, changing, planning, worrying, and we're drawn just into the experience of being right here and being right now. And I think it's fascinating. We can go through so much of our day on autopilot or on doing, on all that stuff, which is fantastic. But then I love that we can take these periods, these little tiny mindful moments, and then we can focus in and dial in. Let the rest of it relax away for a little bit, find our center, find our ground, and when we step back into it, be that much more prepared, that much more ready for the world, that much more centered, that much more grounded. So take what works for me today, leave the rest behind, and let your breath, your body be your guide for your practice. On your inhale, rise up out of Child's Pose and start cat and cow. So you can inhale into cows where you're lifting up through your belly and your tailbone up. Exhale into cats, dropping the tailbone, releasing the head, mid-back goes high. You can spend a little longer in one of those before you move on to the next as well. And then feel free to add any back and forth movement or side to side movement through your hips or through your shoulders. Just getting your spine moving, linking up your breath and your movement. Come into a neutral flat back, hands and knees. And then for your wrists, turn the insides of your wrists forward to the front of the room. Your thumbs point to the side, fingers point back. You can massage side to side or lean a little back and forth, or you can peel the hands off the mat back to your fingertips and then slow motion roll back down so you're getting into the full length of your fingers and into the circle of the palm, the wrists, all the way up into your forearms. Stay with your breathing. We'll take the back of the hands down to the mat, and same idea where you're just giving some massage. And then come into Hero's Pose, so bring your feet together, tops of the feet to the ground, knees together, sit bones back to your heels, and just give a roll out through your wrists, give some movement through your fingers. And we'll just bring the right hand either to your hip or the fingertips to the ground. Inhale reaches your left arm up tall in space. And on your exhale, let your left hand grab onto the top right side of your head and gently pull your left ear to your left shoulder, stretching out the right side of your neck. You could walk your fingertips forward and lift your chin up so you find the front right edge of your neck. Or walk the fingertips back more toward the base of your skull, let your chin come down, find the back right edge of the neck. Exhale is just helping to release out tension. And then your peace sign fingers can just press in, on the left hand can press into the left side of your head, bring your head up to center. Left hand to your hip or fingertips to the ground. Inhale reaches our right arm up and we'll switch our sides out. So on your exhale, just let your right fingertips grab onto the top left side of your head and draw your right ear down towards your right shoulder. And then same thing where you can walk fingertips forward, lift the chin up. Or walk fingertips backwards, let the chin come down and forward. Just find the edges of your neck. And then peace sign fingers on your right hand can press into the right side of your head, into your temple, just bring it back up. Inhale reaches your arms up tall in space, gaze might come up. And on the exhale, just bring your hands into your heart center. Rock forward into your tabletop and then step back into your plank position. We could give a little backwards and forwards motion in that plank, feeling into it. Starting to guide those hips on level with the shoulders. And then as you hold your plank, biceps hugging towards center line, micro bend the elbows rather than being locked. And stay on your toes or bringing the knees to the ground and crossing the ankles, 3 yoga push-ups. So exhales bring you halfway down, leading with the sternum. And then inhales bring you back up in space. Avoid bending your hips. So keep that plank from your toes to the back of your neck or from the knees all the way to the back. Work with your breath so we get this slow and controlled. And then your next exhale is going to guide you all the way down to the ground. So once you've done 3, release down to the ground, tops of the feet to the earth. Slide your palms a little down your torso so they're framing the mid-ribs. And then squeeze your elbows in and start to lift your chest off the ground into a low cobra. Pull your palms just a little bit up off the ground, keeping those shoulder blades toned in. Find the length through the back of your neck so your chin is slightly back in towards your throat. And if you want to take this all the way back to locust pose, just fly your arms back, lift the elbows up a little bit so there's a little bit of a bend, and then pull the thighs up off the ground. But keep that same shape in your spine and that length through the back of the neck, and finding your inhales and finding your exhales. Your next exhale, lower down, make your way to down dog. You can go through tabletop or go through plank. Get the hips back up nice and tall in space and warm up your down dog. Walk it out a little bit, shift your hips around. Start to spread out into your fingers, into the circle of your palm. Let your biceps start to hug into center line. Check if your elbows are locked. Let's put that micro bend into them. Head relaxes, gaze is behind us. And as we start to hold it, we've got that press into the ground, that hug through the biceps. Let the core lift your hips back up tall, and then start to lengthen your heels down behind you. Until you're drawing your navel back and up in space, feeling those heels pull back down. One more inhale here, and on that exhale, just bend the knees and take your step or your float to your forward fold at the top of your mat. On your inhale, come halfway up, so lengthen your spine, press the shins, your thighs, tone your shoulder blades in, gaze is down. And on the exhale, refold. And you can bring your fingertips to the mat and just give your head a little nod yes or nod no. You can ragdoll frame this if you want, or opposite hand grabs, opposite elbow or bicep. Give a little sway or a little rock. We want the weight of the head totally released down from the spine in this one. So sometimes that little nod yes or nod no can help out. Again, when those exhales come through, your body's releasing into the stretch work. And then with your feet at hip bone distance, just root your left fingertips, fist, or palm in front of your feet, but in between your feet. And then bend into your left knee as you press down into your right heel and stretch your right arm up tall in space, gaze over to the right side of the room. Breathe into that stretch, coming all the way along the outside of the leg, all the way up into your hip, all the way up into your side body. On an exhale, you can bring the right hand where your left hand is, bend into your right knee, and then lengthen that left leg, reach the left arm up nice and tall in space, gaze over to the left. So right knee is bending, and then we're stretching out through that left leg, pushing down into your heel. Awesome breathing. Take one more inhale to open, stretch. When the exhale comes, fold forward, feet can stay at hip bone distance or big toes together, space between your heels, vertebrae by vertebrae, roll up. Head is heavy until the end. When the head rises up, big inhale to reach arms wide, tall, maybe an arc back in space. And then with the exhale, just draw your hands down into the heart center. We'll inhale to reach up into mountain, grow tall. When the exhale comes, hinge out from your hips and take your swan dive down into your forward fold. Release the head at the bottom, inhale halfway up, and then hold the breath, plant the hands, step to your plank, and then your choice of how you want to get to down dog. I'm going to do a vinyasa, a flow, exhaling halfway to chaturanga, and then go into upward facing dog, pressing tops of the feet, and eventually making my way back to down dog. You can always skip that vinyasa, that flow, go directly to down dog, or you might replace an up dog with a low cobra. Once we get to our downward facing dog, let's take the right leg up, find a three-legged down dog. Press back through your heel or through the ball of the foot. We just want this nice diagonal line from your hands all the way back up through the leg. And then rather than sinking down into your left hip is also pulling up on level with your right to support the lift. Your next exhale just guides your right knee to your right elbow or triceps. We're in a three-legged plank, hugging the core muscles, staying with the breathing. Right up on the ball of that left foot, even up on the toes. Inhale reaches your right leg back up in space. Cross the knee over to your left elbow or triceps, staying with your breath. Hug to center line. Nice job, you're doing great. On an inhale, reach back up, three-legged down dog. And on your exhale, we just step the foot up in between the hands, find a low lunge position. Once you've got your knee over your heel, start to rise up into your high crescent lunge. So 90-degree bend in your front right knee. Back left heel off the mat on the ball of the left foot. Let the thighs tuck into center line and then press down into your right leg. Let your right glute pull back up. Stretch tall through those arms, so reach up through the side bodies. And then for this twist today, we'll take a deep breath with our hands at heart center, so guide your hands in. And then when your exhale comes, just twist open to the right, so left tricep, left elbow over on the top and outside of your right thigh. And then let the knuckles on your thumbs start to pull in towards your sternum, so you're stacking your right shoulder over your left shoulder here. Awesome, friends. You're welcome to keep your hands as they are. If you want to open, you can reach your right arm straight up in space. You can just press the left elbow to the outside of the left thigh. Or if you wanted to really work deeper into the twist, you could press your right hand to the outside of your right thigh, really reach your left elbow onto the outside of the leg, and then drop the length of your left arm down the back of that right leg, or rather the side of that right leg, bringing your fingertips closer to the ground. Make sure you can still breathe. Don't get so deep into your twist if you lose that breath. And then you'll get all the way down to the end of that breath. And use an inhale to twist open to warrior two, so it's a big windmill open through your arms. Reaching your left arm all the way back, your right arm forward. You can open up to your stance a bit as you like. Guide your heels in one line to the front of the mat and the back. Feel that press down into the knife edge of your left foot, that tone of your left leg down to the ground, the hug of your thighs to center. Same press through your heel, hug back up to your glute. Spine up nice and tall as you reach out through your arms. Beautiful. Take that breath into our Virabhadrasana to our warrior two, and on your exhale, bring it into our extended side angle pose. So today, right forearm or right thigh. You also, if you want to go deeper into it, can lower the right fingertips down where you've got the elbow pressing to the inside of your knee, and the length of the arm reaching down the inside of the leg. Fingers are right above the ground. Left arm reaching up tall in space. Gaze can be to the side or looking up where your fingers are stretching. Use your breathing. On an inhale, we'll guide it back up into our warrior two. And on your exhale, just turn your right palm to the sky and reverse your warrior with left hand to hip thigh or wrap behind you. Right arm reaches up tall. Your gaze can be over to the side of the room or down to your left foot. Or as your right arm stretches up, you can take your gaze up and add maybe a little bend to your elbow. If you find yourself lifting out of your lunge, just recommit into your lunge, into the strength of your legs. Deep breath into that reverse warrior, and on your exhale, cartwheel your hands down to a low lunge position. Come onto the ball of the left foot. Bring the gaze up in space, and then we're going to step up into chair pose with Katasana on an inhale. You can have everything at hip bone distance, or if you practice with the big toes together, guide your knees and your thighs right into center line. Arms lift up nice and tall. Sit bones are reaching back in space. I always think about a skier tucking down a mountain with those sit bones going back, but then that lift up through the chest that we drop into our chair. Okay, so that same twist we did earlier in our high crescent lunge. Guide your hands to heart center. Deep breath in. When the exhale comes, your twist is open to the right, so your left elbow or tricep goes up the top and outside of your thigh. On this one, watch, your left knee will probably want to swivel forward in space, and you're guiding that left knee back in alignment with your right, so your hips are lined up behind you. If you want to open your arms up like we did on the last side, go for it. Right arm reaches tall, left arm on the outside of that right leg. Use your inhales, use your exhales. And then we'll take the weight into our right foot, and on an inhale, start to rise up into one-legged mountain. So left knee lifts up in space, it bends at 90. Feel your big right toe rooted into the ground as you extend up through your arms, full length of your body here. And for a hip stretch, and continue our one-legged balance, figure four. So take the left ankle over the top of your right thigh. Start to drop your sit bones back. This is a one-legged chair. Hands can come in towards your heart center. A little flexion of those toes back into your shin if you want. Friends, if you want to go for a twist here, your right hand can grab your left elbow and can start to guide the left elbow into the bottom of that left foot. You can make a fist with your left hand, open palm with your right, or both open palms. Like we just did earlier, you could also open your arms up if you like. So you could drop that left arm down, right arm can extend up to the sky. Play with your balance. If you fall out of it, no worries. Focus your gaze on something that's not moving. Keep a positive mindset. And then on an inhale, we'll rise back up into that one-legged mountain. Then on the exhale, just bring the foot to the ground, hands to your heart center. If your right leg needs a shake out, give a little bit of a release. Nice work. And then up at the top of your mat on an inhale, extend and reach your arms up tall in space. Breathe in. Exhale to hinge out from your hips and control your swan dive down to your forward fold. Release your head at the bottom. Take your peace sign fingers to your big toes, or walk your palms underneath your feet for gorilla pose, where your toes touch the back of your wrists. Or you can wrap the belly of the forearms back behind the calves, fingers sliding down the back of the ankles. You can take like a baby half lift, just a little bit of a lift through your spine, and then refold when you're ready. But the idea is you're using the pull against your toes or against the undersides of your feet or the back of your legs to draw yourself into this. Any nod yes or nod no you need through your head, I want you to take here, so we're letting the weight of the head just release down. Nice, couple more rounds of breath, stay with it. Beautiful, friends, just release from there. Inhale halfway up, lengthen your spine, strengthen your shoulder blades in. Plant your hands, step back to your plank, and we're in one of those Vinyasa flow situations. So you make your own way to down dog, whether you're shifting directly back or taking that push up, chaturanga dandasana, upward facing dog, or Katasana, or you're taking that low Cobra, hip shift back and up. We meet in down dog, Katasana. This time we'll inhale the left leg back up tall in space, find a three-legged down dog. In Sanskrit, Hatha, nice long name. Push back to your left heel or through the ball of the left foot. Again, that diagonal line. Rather than sinking down into your right hip, that right hip's pulling up on level with your left as your right heel draws down, stretching through the leg. Next exhale, guide your left knee over to your left elbow or tricep, holding here. Get high on the ball of that right foot or even all the way onto your toes. Inhale back up, three-legged down dog. And then on that exhale, just cross the knee over to your right elbow or tricep. Shoulders right above the hands, staying with your breathing, hugging in center line. On your next inhale, reach the left leg back up tall. And as you exhale, we're going to step all the way up into a low lunge position. Once you've got your foot worked up between your hands, you've got your knee right over your heel, take that rise up into your high crescent lunge. Front knee bent at 90. Back right heel pulling forward on the ball of the foot. Thighs turned into center line. And then reaching up through your arms, so lengthening through those side bodies. Guide your hands into your heart center. Take a deep breath in. And then when your exhale comes, lean forward and take your twist over to the left, so guiding your right elbow, tricep, top outside of left thigh. Awesome. Think about the knuckles on your thumbs in towards your sternum. Gaze over to the side. Left shoulder stacking over bottom right. And then your version of opening here, if you took it on the other side. So whether it was just you've got the right elbow pressing into the outside of the left thigh, you've got the left arm up, or if you're really guiding that elbow beyond the thigh, dropping the arm down on the inside of the leg and then extending and reaching back up to your left hand. Again, we want to stay playful with our balance, playful with our practice. Just keeping that positive mindset. Get down to the end of your breath, and then on your next inhale, you're going to take your rise up to your warrior two. So drop the knife edge of your back right foot to the ground. Right arm back, left arm forward. Again, feel free to open through your stance as you need to. Guide your legs into it. So left sit bone underneath your body. Heels in one line. Strong press down through that right leg. Active press through the right leg. Hug the thighs in and then press down into your left foot. Feel that left glute pulling back and up in space. Next exhale, extended side angle pose. So you can hinge forward. Take your left forearm to your left thigh. Or if you took the length of the left arm on the other side, the length of the arm on down the leg on the other side, we'll do that here so your elbow presses back into your knee or thigh. The arm reaches down. Stay with your breath. Nice lift through that inner side body. Awesome, yogis. On an inhale, rise back up into your warrior two. Then take your reverse warrior on this side. So left arm reaches up, right hand is behind us, or to your back hip or your back thigh. Left arm pulls up tall, open through that side body. Stay strong in your legs. Gaze where you want to have it. Using those inhales, using those exhales. Nice. Next exhale, we can cartwheel the hands down to friend the left foot, turn on the ball of the right. Bring your gaze up in space, and your inhale, we step up into chair pose. So right foot meets the left, and again, if you've got big toes together, ankle bone, knees, thighs on land, things are at a hip bone distance, that's awesome. Just make sure your knees aren't bowing in or out. Drop those sit bones back, lift up to the chest, find your breathing. You can always take your arms wider as you need to in chair with the arms lifted. Okay, and then for the twist, guide your hands to your heart center. Take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, we're twisting over to the left. So we've got the right tricep, top outside of your left thigh. Check if your right knee swiveled forward. You want to have the knees lined up so the hips are lined up behind us. And then feel free to open your arms up. You did that on the other side. Opening, pressing that right arm outside of left leg, extending left arm up tall. Working with that breathing. Then the weight to your left foot, rise up one-legged mountain, so arms and right knee pull up in space. Big left toes rooted down to the ground. Focus your gaze out in front of you on something that's not moving, and feel like you're lifting that thigh up like there's a suitcase handle and you're pulling up through it. Perfect, so we're gonna do our figure four. Right ankle over the top of your left thigh. This is our one-legged chair. Hands can be to heart, one hand to knee, one hand to heel. If you're going for that twist, the hands are at your heart center, and then we take the left hand and grab the right elbow, and you're guiding the right elbow over to the bottom of the right foot. Once you've got it in there, you can do a fist, an open palm, or both open palms, and it starts to twist over to the side of the room. Stay there, or if you open on the other side, open your right arm down, fingers down, and reach that left arm up nice and tall in space. Awesome, you always will rise back up to one-legged mountain, slow and controlled. Breathe in, and on your exhale, lower the right foot down to the ground, hands into heart center. Left leg needs a little shake out, give it a little release. From here, we're going to move into our breath to movement. So, starting up just at the top of your mat. On an inhale, reach and extend the arms up tall, breathe in. And as you exhale, hinge out for mountain, swan dive to forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Plant the hands, step back into plank, exhale halfway down, or whatever one you want to take to get to down dog. Inhale, up dog. Repeated down dog. On an inhale, reach your right leg back up tall in space, three-legged down dog. And as you exhale, guide the knee over to your right elbow or tricep, three-legged plank. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, knee, left elbow or tricep. Inhale takes us back up. And on the exhale, you're gonna work up into your low lunge. Once you've got your right foot up between your hands, your inhale is your high crescent lunge. And then your exhale, hands to heart center, twist to the right, left elbow top outside of the right thigh. Inhale is warrior two, left arm back, right arm forward, knife edge of the left foot to the ground. Exhales are extended side eagle pose. On the inhale, rise up into your reverse warrior. With the exhale, cartwheel down into your low lunge. Inhale is Katasana chair pose with arms lifted. And on the exhale, hands to heart center, twist to the right, left elbow top outside of right thigh. Take the weight to your right foot, inhale arms and left knee lift, one-legged mountain. And as you exhale, figure four, left ankle over that right thigh. Inhale, one-legged mountain. You can add an extension with your left leg forward. And exhale, bring the foot to the floor, hands to heart center. We'll take the other side. So on your inhale, lift up in the mountain, reach your arms tall. Exhale, find your swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, strengthen the spine, lighten. Plant the hands, move to plank, and your choice how you're gonna flow into down dog. I'm going exhale halfway down, inhale up dog, and then exhale down dog. So we in down dog, inhale, the left leg lifts up, three-legged down dog. Exhale, knee to left elbow or tricep, three-legged plank. Inhale back, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to right elbow or tricep, three-legged plank. Inhale back up, three-legged down dog. Exhale, low lunge. Okay, once you've got knee over the heel, take your inhale to rise up, high crescent lunge. With the exhale, hands to heart center, twist to the left, right elbow, top outside of left thigh. Inhale is warrior two, so big movement, knife edge, the right foot to the ground, right arm back, left arm forward. And then exhale to your version of extended side angle pose. On the inhale, open to your reverse warrior. And as you exhale, cartwheel down into your low lunge. Inhale is chair pose, right foot meets the left. Lift up to your arms, sit bones back. Exhale, twist to the left, right elbow top outside of left thigh. Take the weight to your left foot, inhale, arms and right knee up, one-legged mountain. And as you exhale, find your finger four, so right over the top of your left knee or thigh. Inhale, one-legged mountain, you can extend that right leg forward as you lift to your thigh. Exhale, foot to the ground, hands into your heart center. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, fill from the bottom to the middle, all the way to the top, and then side out. Inhale, reaches the arms up tall, breathe in. On the exhale, hinge out from the hips and swan dive down into your forward fold. We're gonna lift the heels off the ground. You can walk your knees in a little closer and just curl into a little wall here. You can leave your fingertips down to the ground, or you could wrap your arms down around your legs. Nice stretch through the spine here. And then eventually we're gonna rock this down onto our sit bones. If you're ready to go right down to your back, you can go onto your back, or if you need a drink of water, this is a good time to pause and grab a drink. How you guys doing? Good. As we come down to our back, friends, we are on to our core work. So we're gonna do motion, hold, and motion from three different positions. So the first position, your legs are straight up in space. So lift the legs up, then pull your head and shoulders off the ground. You can have a hand behind the base of the skull to start. And then the motion will be side to side. So your arms go forward, you're twisting left or right, and then our hold will be straight up in space. So go for it, yogi, start to twist side to side. Now, if your neck needs support, I want you just to take one hand behind the base of your skull, but continue that side to side motion. Use your breath. Okay, we're ready for the hold and center. Both arms straight up in space, or one hand is back there behind the base of the skull, elbow wide. Again, it's about those head and shoulders off the ground. Feel that flex in your core. Cool, go back to your side to side movement, and then we'll take a break after a little bit of this one. Get into those obliques, those side bodies. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Supta Baddha Konasana, bottoms of the feet together, knees are wide. Relax the arms at your sides. Find that deep, slow breath. For the next position, we'll start with a reverse tabletop. So your knees are bent at 90, bottoms of the feet are pointing forward. Take the hands behind the base of the skull with head and shoulders up off the ground. From there, start to extend your legs out onto a diagonal with your low back pinned and pushed to the ground. Your movement, inhale, knees in, exhale, legs straight up and back to the diagonal. So in, up, and down. Let's take this at your own pace. You got it. Work with your breath. That's our guide. The next time that you're out on the diagonal, I want you to hold your feet together out on the diagonal. Again, low back is rooted and pressed to the ground. Hold the legs out, stay with your breathing. And we're back into it, in, up, and downs. Bring your knees in, grab your hamstrings. You're gonna rock yourself up to your sit bones, friends. And then for our rest, regular Katasana on the sit bones, the bottoms of the feet together. Knees are out wide. Take a moment to find the front edge of your sit bones. And then with your hands to your shins, inhale to reach your spine up super tall. And on exhale, hinge out from your hips and start to guide your sternum towards your big toes. And you can walk your hands further down to your feet or your toes or to the ground. Elbows might come and give a little downwards pressure on the insides of the legs, or might push against the shins to help the sternum pull forward in space. And I love with this type of posture, which might be more of like a restorative pose, a deep stretch, you have those times where you can be more just letting the body weight relax, or those times where you're more actively stretching, pushing, or pulling into it. Either way, the breath is right there with us. Beautiful. Vertebrae by vertebrae, roll the spine up. Plant your feet out in front of you. Knees are bent. Grab your hamstrings and now lengthen your spine up nice and tall. Start to let the shoulder blades come in, shoulder heads slide down, and lift your heels off the ground. Cross your ankles. And then the movement from this boat, you're going to start to row to the right and to the left. That's your movement. Go for it. Weave the breath in however makes the most sense to you. And then you're going to hold Navasana boat pose, which can look a number of different ways. Knees bent or legs lengthened, hands supported or arms open, or any other variations that you know or love. Use your breath, find that lift up through your chest, relax the face. Back into our rows, back into our twists. Take one more time on each side, and then we're going to meet up in our Sphinx Pose. So you can come all the way from tabletop. Stretch your legs back in space. Comfortably let the hips come down to the ground, tops of the feet are to the floor. Root into your elbows to your forearms, lift up to the chest, find the length through the back of your neck. Stretch through your low back, stretch into your abdominal wall. Use that breath to work your way into it. So rather than pressing right to the deepest point of it, let the breath help to guide you into the deeper parts of it. If you want, twist your chin, your gaze over your left shoulder just for a moment. Switch it out over your right shoulder if you're over the left. Nice, then you can let the weight of the head fall forward if you like. Lift up through your shoulders, a little bit of cat in your upper spine. And then we'll just lay at the beach for a moment. Just relax your head, relax your arms. You can let the feet stay relaxed too, or for some movement for your low back, knees, and ankles, lift the feet up in space and just start to roll out your knees, roll out your ankles, windshield wiper, circles. Nice job, yogis. A couple more rounds of breath, just relaxing it out. And then we'll bring it back into our downward facing dog. So you can move through your tabletop or through your plank. As we shift back into that down dog, you start to plug into your stretch. You start to plug into your alignment. Inhale the right leg up, three-legged down dog. And as you exhale, open the hip and bend the knees, so draping the toes down to the left as that knee lifts up tall. And watch that the frame that was just to the ground doesn't twist down to the left or down to the ground. Keep the frame nice and strong through your arms or your left leg. On your next exhale, start to guide the foot up in between your hands, so you're taking a low lunge position. And then for a pyramid pose, we're going to step the left foot a foot and a half behind the right. All 10 toes can face forward, or your back foot might point a little bit to the left. If you've got blocks, awesome, you can bring your blocks in, otherwise fingertips, fists, or palms are great. We'll take a half, and with pyramid, the other piece too, friends, if you're not aware of it, is you are straightening out that right leg. And you don't want to straighten to the point that your knee is locked and the leg is kind of relaxed around the knee. You want to just micro, so you want to kind of lengthen it back, then micro bend around the knee. But nonetheless, getting that length in your right leg. Okay, now half lift on your inhale. I'm going to fly my arms back. You can press to your shin if you want, or hands to your hips. And then on the exhale, fold it forward. Keep the pyramid legs and reverse swan dive, inhaling arms wide and tall. Nice. And on the exhale, bring the hands to your heart center. And then reach your elbows back in space, and we can do one of two things. You can either take opposite hand to opposite elbow, or you can do the reverse prayer up your back. So you're drawing those elbows back, and then you're guiding your palms together, bring your pinkies in towards your spine. Okay, pull the hips back so that right leg is where you want it for pyramid. Inhale up, and on your exhale, just come halfway down and hold that half lift. Gaze to the ground. Find your breathing, shoulder blades toning in towards one another, just like when we're doing Ardha Uttanasana, our half lift from forward fold. Beautiful friends, fold forward when you're ready and bring those fingertips, those fists, those palms down to the ground or down to your blocks. Release the weight of your head so your forehead is in towards your knee or thigh or shin. And then you press into your fingertips as you pull the hips back up. Press into your right foot as you draw the hips back. Reach back down to your left leg. Find that breath. Okay, and then to twist this pyramid, I'm going to switch onto my left fist. You can also use your left fingertips, your palm, or if you've got a block, this is great use of the block. We'll start to reach and extend that right arm up nice and tall in space. And you're going to feel that your hips are going to want to twist out of alignment. So the goal is to keep that positioning while you're here, friends. To keep those hips squared up towards the front of the room. To keep drawing that length in the back of the right leg. One more inhale into twist, and on your exhale, fold forward. Walk the hands out a little bit more, maybe like 6 inches in front of your right foot. Lift your left leg back up, so it's kind of like we were going into standing splits, almost. Your hands are just a little further out in front of you. Okay, this is twisted half move, so left fingertips, fists, or palm to the ground, and now you're reaching that right arm back up where you just had it for twisted pyramid. Your left toes can point down to the ground. Front of your left hip can point down to the ground. You've got some other nice twists in class earlier on with that sun salutation B. And we're using that twisting here to find your breath. Next exhale, we'll take a forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale halfway up, lengthen through the spine. Exhale to refold, and then reverse swan dive and reach up tall in space. Exhale, cactus your arms open, moving back bend. Root your right foot to the ground, inhale arms and left knee up, one-legged mountain. And on the exhale, you're going to swim all the way back and find a low lunge. Both hands framing your right foot. Once you've got the low lunge, both hands framing your right foot, just rewind three-legged down dog. You You can go to full down dog, or if you want to flow, you can come into a three-legged push-up, drop halfway down, inhale upward facing dog. Or we're just gonna meet in downward facing dog and take the other side of that sequence. So once you're in down dog, take your left leg back and up in space. Find three-legged downward facing dog. And then we'll start to open the hip and bend the knee and drape the toes down over to the right as your knee lifts up tall. And again, watching that the frame below you doesn't twist right and down, that you're holding that frame strong as you open that left leg up and back. Nice. On an exhale, step the foot up between your hands, low lunge position. Step the right foot a foot and a half up behind your left for a pyramid. Your feet can be on railroad tracks at hip bone distance, all 10 toes forward, or right toes slightly pointed to the right. Start to find the length in your left leg, pulling the hips back, releasing the head, micro bending the left knee. We inhale halfway up, hands can fly back, beating your hips or pressing your shin. Exhale, we'll fold it forward. And then a reverse swan dive with pyramid legs, inhaling arms wide and tall. And on the exhale, just bring the hands into your heart. Perfect. Reach your elbows back in space, and then opposite hand to opposite elbow, or that reverse prayer. Whenever your arms are set up here, inhale to lengthen up through your spine, and then on your exhale, come halfway and hold that half lift position. So think about your gazes to the ground. Crown of the head is extending forward. Shoulder blades are toning in towards one another. Staying with your breath, you're doing awesome. And then just when the next exhale comes, take that half lift and release it forward. Bring the fingertips, fists, or palms to the ground or to your blocks. Press into your fingertips as you lift your hips back. Reach the spine down from the hips as you let the head relax. Press into your left foot as your left sit bone draws back. That bend, that micro bend in your left knee. And of course, right heel pressing down to the ground behind us, stabilizing the back of the leg. Using your breath. Okay, then we're gonna get twisting on this side. So you can bring your right fingertips, fist, or palm to the ground, and then start to reach your left arm up in space. Keep squaring your hips towards the front of the mat, and keep that length in your left leg, gazes to the left, or turning up, you're high-fiving. And let that left shoulder pull back in space. One more inhale, reaches up. On your exhale, fold it down. And then it's like we're going into half splits, but we're gonna take the fingers out a little more in front of us, like 6 inches in front of that left foot. Lift the right leg up in space, and then you're on the right fingertips, onto the knuckles, or on the palm, as we now extend and reach that left arm up, and this is our twisted half moon. Back left heel up on level with your hip. Your left toes are pointing down to the ground. In front of your right hip bone is pointing down to the ground. Reaching up through that left fingertips. On an exhale, forward fold, top of your mat. Nice job, friends. Inhale halfway up, lengthen your spine. Exhale, refold. Reverse swan dive, inhale tall. On an exhale, cactus it open, lean back. Inhale to reach your arms and your right knee up into one-legged mountain with your left foot. On the exhale, we swing back into a low lunge position. Inhale, left leg, three-legged down dog. You can go right to down dog or your last flow halfway down. Inhaling upward facing dog. Leaning back in our down dog. From that down dog, friend, start to bring it down onto your sit bones. You need a drink of water, another good time to grab a drink of water. Fantastic. I'm going to start to talk us into double pigeon fire log for your right hip. An alternative to this is where you just go onto your back in a reclined pigeon with your right ankle over the top of the left thigh. Release the head and then hug that knee to your chest. So the left shin will be parallel to the top of your mat, And then you're centering the knee and foot to the sides of your mat. Grab your right leg and start to cradle your right leg, pulling the knee in towards your chest and also guiding that foot in towards your body. And then we notch up the indentation on the outside of the ankle between ankle bone and heel over the ridge of the knee, the inside ridge of the knee, and it notches up just like that. You want to watch your ankles not collapsing and your foot is turning up, so keep a strong ankle so your heel points down. Stack your fire log, so pull your sit bones back until your shins are parallel. Flex your toes in. If you've got a blanket or a block or a water bottle even, there's a lift up to your right knee. You can slide it in there and give a little support. And then you can stay upright, maybe even giving it a little pressure with your right arm down to that right leg. Or I love where we fold and then start to walk your hands forward, and then that right tricep comes down right over the top of that right knee, and you want to give just some gentle downwards pressure. Again, watch that that right ankle is not collapsing. We have strength through it. And just plenty of that good breathing. Staying in that positive mindset. This yoga practice is just that. It's a practice. It's not designed to have a beginning and an end. As long as you are alive and you are breathing and you can practice that space of mindfulness, we are experiencing yoga. We're inside of it. So stay with your breath, stay with your practice. You know, for some of us, you could stay here all day. Others of us, after like a round of breath, you're like, get me out of this. But when you're ready, just start to bring your spine up in space. Take your legs out in front of you, and then give some roll-outs. I'm also gonna lean back on my hands and just lift kind of a sit bone off of the mat at a time as I stretch out through my toes. All we're doing is bringing blood flow and circulation in before we switch our sides out. And then when you're ready for it, we're going to switch our sides out. So if you're taking reclined pigeon, you're on your back, left ankle over your right thigh. For our double pigeon, our fire log, we're now crossing the right shin to the top of the mats. And then just warming up the hip, guiding that left leg in towards us. Giving a little cradle, a little rock. And then you're making the notch, indentation on the outside of your ankle, just right into the inside ridge of that right knee or thigh. Stacking your fire logs. Maybe that water bottle or that block or that blanket or that sweatshirt in between there, so you got a little downwards pressure. Toes are flexing in, ankles strong, and then your choice. If you stay up with this, stay upright, that's awesome. Or if you want, you start to take that walk forward. Reach your arms out. Head goes down. Left tricep might give a little bit of a press on top of that left knee. Just find your inhales, find your exhales, create that breathing. Friends, just slowly start to lift yourself back out of this, and then we're going to meet on our backs. So you can just extend your legs out in front of you, slide your hips up as you need to. It might feel nice to take a full morning stretch once you come down. But then for our bridge pose, once you've got that stretch reaching from the front over the back, plant your feet to the floor, your knees are up in space. Reach your arms down along your sides, step your heels until your fingers can touch your heels, and then press into your elbows and lift up through your hips. Shoulder blades can come in closer, making that shelf for your heart. Feel the big toes gripping to the ground. If there's another variation with this one you want to grab, feel free to take it. But find your breath. Vertebrae by vertebrae, release down. You can bring your knees into your chest and rock side to side, or for a happy baby, hook the peace sign fingers up to your big toes. Knees open wide, ankles are stacked above the knees, the bottoms of the feet shining up to the sky. And you can pull down on this frame, bring your low back into the mat, or close into the mat as you rock side to side. Extend your left leg flat in front of you. Hug your right knee up to your right shoulder. Let your left hand guide your right knee down over to the left so you roll onto the outside edge of your left hip. Open your right arm to the right and take your gaze out over your right fingertips, twisting. Using your breath to massage your body out and twist. Come out of the twist, flat onto your back. Bring your knees in and just give yourself a little rock, neutralizing your spine. And then we'll switch that one out where your right leg is flat out in front of you, left knee to left shoulder. Right hand grabs and pulls down over to the right. So you roll onto the outside edge of the hip. Left arm reaches left. Take your fingertips out to the left. Twisting from the tailbone all the way through the crown of the head. Letting those exhales release you deeper. Come onto your back and just bring your knees in. Give yourself one more rock, side to side. And then we'll move into our final resting pose, our corpse posture, Shavasana. Making yourself comfortable. You need to cover your eyes with anything awesome. Release the weight of the legs. Let your feet just relax open. Release your arms down at your sides. Release the weight of the arms to the hands. close your eyes, and rather than controlling your breath, just let go of it, let your body take back over on the breathing. And we create this place of physical stillness. And we invite our mind, and we invite our emotions into this deeper place of peace. Some life back into your body, just moving your fingers, toes, ankles, wrists. You can stretch and extend your arms back behind you in space, opening. And then roll the weight of your body onto your sides, creating a fetal position. Curling up, weight of the head can release down to an outstretched arm, deepening the breath. And then we'll meet in that cross-legged position. So pulling the flesh away from the sit bones as you come up to it. Getting to the front edge of the sit bones where the spine can come up nice and tall. Inhale reaches the arms wide, tall in space. And on the exhale, just guide your hands to your heart center. And bring your thumbs in towards your sternum. Release the weight of the head towards the hands. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether it is clear to you or not, no doubt the universe is unfolding exactly as it should. Friends, thanks for coming and practicing today. Thanks for practicing with your body and with that positive mindset. Have a beautiful rest of it. Much love. Namaste.